And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gaming Zone. As always, I'm your host, Chriz Aka the Mole. And joining me for this one is Marcus Shadow.
Hello.
And today we're going to be just doing a quick review of Lego Jurassic World. And it's worth noting we both played the PS4 version, but it should be relatively the same review for across the board.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that being too different, but I don't even see us doing the proper format like I used to with this one. I just see it being a quick shoot the shit type discussion. But
Sure.
uh, yeah, they've made some improvements in Lego Jurassic World over previous Lego games. Like when you pull up your character sheet, you can actually see what the abilities are before you pick them, which is kind of handy.
Yeah. I hope they keep that for future iterations.
Yep. Although, as I mentioned, I think the reason for it is just because Jurassic World, they're all pretty much the same character.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World and stuff. I like the films, I really do. I'm not insulting them, but they're not as diverse as say okay, well we got like the X-Men and fucking and Spider-Man and Hulk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So therefore, it makes sense for this one. I don't think we need it for like the Lego Avengers or something, but it would still be cool to have in future games.
hmm
They also added the ability to, which is more of an extension of stuff they've already done in the past, but they also had to create a dinosaur.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Although I was a little disappointed you couldn't rename the dinosaur.
Well, yeah, it's because when you load in, when you go to load in the dinosaur, you pick your custom T Rex. So it's you customize the T Rex. You can name it what you want. It's just your custom T Rex.
hmm
And I'm like, no, yeah, that's fine. You can also customize like raptors and
Yeah.
triceratops and stuff. It's not just T Rex for people listening.
Yeah, I do like the customization options. Like I said, it was just a minor disappointment of I was like, oh, I wanted to rename my custom T-Rex or to custom, whatever I make, because in pretty much every Lego game that's ever come out that's got the customization, you've been able to rename your custom characters or whatever it is you're customizing.
Well, you can for some stuff. Like you can customize. You can still do that for the people, like you can on the other ones. But on other
Mm-hmm.
ones, when you've made like custom vehicles or something like that, you've not named them.
Mm.
You only name it for the people, so you get the little name next to the health bar and stuff like that. But it still worked for what it was, and it was still cool being able to give like a T Rex, like say Stegosaurus plates on his back and stuff. I like okay, that's kind of cool.
I also like that if you fiddle around with the different parts, it changes their abilities. Like if you give a dinosaur a T-Rex head, you get the T-Rex's like super roar.
Yep.
Um, I found one thing actually kind of interesting with this because with most dinosaurs, if you just put the T-Rex head on and use it, it's the T-Rex's actual roar. But I noticed specifically with the Dilophosaurus, the acid spit with the wings on its head, when you put the T-Rex head on him and you do the roar, it's not the T-Rex's roar, it's the Dilophosaurus's hiss, which I found interesting.
Yeah, that makes a bit of sense.
I don't know if there are other dinosaurs that keep their sound, but I know like because I have the T-Rex head on my custom Trudon, and he gets the T-Rex roar. So
Nice. And yeah, this game contains four movies in one, and like mini
yes,
games, if you will, in one game. Of Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic
mm,
Park 3, and Jurassic World.
yes,
Which they did a pretty good job with them. I did enjoy playing through them and
indeed.
seeing the cutscenes and stuff done in Lego and being like, okay, I know this isn't how it worked, but that's kind of funny and stuff like that for various stuff like say I don't know, like how they distract the T Rex to save the kids.
hmm
That's funny. Or when the T-Rex on the same, like right on the same level on Jurassic Park, when he goes to swallow the guy in the toilet, he tries brushing his teeth.
Yep. Yep.
And
They
like,
Legoized it, and it worked.
yeah, and I'm like, that's funny. I like that.
Yep. I also like on the hubs. The music that plays is different. It's the like actual theme music to each of the movies, which I found interesting. Even though they do use the Jurassic Park theme in every movie does have also its own distinct like theme.
Yep, except for Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, when you're in Jurassic World, it actually plays the music that plays when they first enter Jurassic World in the movie. It
Yes,
doesn't actually play the Jurassic Park theme.
yes and no.
Oh,
In certain parts, if you do and you when you set it right with like the speakers and stuff, it can constantly play like a jazzed up remix version of the Jurassic Park main theme, similar to what it did in the actual story mode. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. So you can like certain places where there's speakers and stuff, it'll play like a more version. I'm like, that's cool. So
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I haven't run into those, but fair enough. Although I did notice when I went into the Innovation Center and then I went into the Hammond Creation Lab where you customize your dinosaurs. When I walked in there, it played the Jurassic Park theme.
Yep. Now, one small complaint with this is the fourth game,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Jurassic World. They took more liberties with that than the other one, so it doesn't quite feel as the same, if that makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
and this is a small nitpick, but I hate the fact you go to discover the visitor center and it's in a different location. I know where the visitor
Yeah.
center from the first film is because it's in the first film's hub. But I
Yeah.
understand why
I
they
noticed
did
that
that
too.
because otherwise they'd have to grow extra shit on top of what was already there and it'd be too complicated.
Mm-hmm. One little complaint I have with the Jurassic World part of the game, and it's a complaint I've had with most of the movie tie-ins that they've done, specifically Lord of the Rings. I'm trying to remember if they did it with The Hobbit. I don't think it was as much, but it was very noticeable with Lord of the Rings, primarily because that's my favorite trilogy of all time. But that is, I noticed with Jurassic World, they took events and moved them out of sequence, so the dialogue because they took the dialogue out of sequence, and because of that, some of what happened didn't make sense if you've seen the movie, and I didn't like that because to me, like you pointed out, it didn't feel as faithful an adaptation as the first three. And for me, that's why it didn't feel as faithful, is
They
because the
they did
liberties we took with it were the same
they,
as like Lord of the Rings, where they took things out of sequence.
they did that with the first three films.
Did they?
Yep. Because right before I played that, I made sure before I played each one to watch the films again.
Okay, fair enough.
And like I said, I feel if people complain about that, of well, they took a little bit of liberty with the order the stories take place, and it's like, well, why are you playing Lego games? It's like
Yeah.
if you're gonna play like Joker's never had a Megazord, did you complain about that, or did you just not care about that source material as much as this source material?
Well, I think the difference is that with like the Lego Batman, Lego Marvel stuff, it's not like it was following an already established story. Yes, it was using established characters, but it was in an original story. Whereas with like Lego Lord of the Rings, Lego Hobbit, and this one, they're not only using established characters and source material, they're following an established story. It's not an original story.
Yeah, but
And maybe it's just me, but I feel if you're going to follow an established story, you need to follow that story. You can't be taking things out of context.
see, I make the case of you can if it's Lego style, because I'll go all the way back to Lego Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
There were some things that happened a little out of place. Then they completely changed Obi-Wan's character there to be a bumbling fool, and it was funny.
Hmm.
That was funny, but and it's like I don't complain because it's like it's Lego games. You kind of expect that. It's making it more engaging for when you're playing the game, and it just makes it a little bit more fun. And I'm like, I'm okay if they mess around with the source material a bit because, it's, you know what I mean. It's a little bit fun.
Hmm. Which is fair enough.
But yeah, like I said, the gameplay is pretty much like the Lego gameplay.
Yeah. Disappointed they took out the swimming. That felt like a step back to me because I'm like, how many games have they done now where characters can swim and then all of a sudden in this one, nope, you can't swim. I'm like, what?
Think where they were.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't want to swim, but it doesn't mean you can't swim.
Yeah, but I'm saying look at the Jurassic Park films. All those rivers and all the water around the island is normally like rushing and stuff like that. It's like stuff they don't really want to swim as much.
True.
And they do have they do have one of the areas where you could swim, and it's one that would be plausible to swim in, if that makes sense. And I'm like, okay, like you can just go across it a little bit, and I was like, okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, it did seem weird that you couldn't swim in as much as you could in the previous Lego games.
Yeah.
But they all they didn't really change much with the gameplay if you've played the other Lego games, but
No.
they have reworked stuff and they've retweaked stuff to be a little different and stuff. Like there's a new hacking mechanic that, while it was
Yeah.
in one of the other games, it works differently.
Yeah.
And there's also like that computer one where you can activate it mentally. It shows a hand and 3 buttons. You have to memorize it and press it and do the puzzle that way, which that was kind of cool. And just various stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
the gyrospheres are basically the bubble from Robin, but
But in vehicle form, I love the gyrosphere. It's my
I don't
favorite
know.
vehicle.
I don't know if it counts as a vehicle.
It is. You can only get it off of a vehicle pad. You have to summon it there. Um.
Yeah, but the reason I say I don't know if it counts as a vehicle is in the level itself,
Hmm.
you're using it just like the Robin and walking around and hopping and stuff.
Yeah, you could do that. It's more like a dinosaur, but it's off a vehicle pad. The reason I like it so much is because they treat it like a dinosaur. And that's another thing too that I didn't quite like is that they don't treat vehicles like vehicles in this one, and that kind of made me sad because I noticed when I pulled because I had to buy the Jurassic Park like Jeep because it's the Jurassic Park Jeep. But I was driving around in that, and I noticed when I ran over like plants and stuff, I I didn't immediately pick up the studs as I should be if I'm in a fucking vehicle. But if I pull out the gyrosphere and I run things over, it instantly picks it up like I do when I run things over with a dinosaur, with a medium to large dinosaur.
That's weird
And that
because
made me go, huh,
yeah, that's weird because every time I've crashed into stuff on it, I've got all the studs.
huh. Because so far of the vehicles, because I use the Jurassic Park vehicle and I use that first Jurassic Park vehicle, the
Yeah.
white one, and it explodes studs out and then it sits there and then I have the stud magnet, so it takes a second and then I get all the studs. Whereas with the gyrosphere, it just racks it up like it normally would with a vehicle.
See, I don't have a stud magnet on. I just drive through and it adds to my score.
That's weird.
But you know, it's like I said, it's still pretty fun. And yeah, there's enough variety with the characters. They did make the characters feel different. Like they've
Yes.
got like some of them can cut, some of them can hack, some of them can light up dark places. It's
Yeah.
which I'm like that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Even
And I love that
dinosaurs have different abilities.
yeah, they added dinosaur abilities, which I was like, what? And I thought that was kind of cool. But I like that even characters that have the same ability, they're variations on the ability. So it's not always the same thing. Like Ian Malcolm has a reusable road flare, whereas like the Timmy, the kid from the first one, has the night vision goggles. And then you have fucking what's his face, the older brother from Jurassic World. He's got an actual torch, made out of bone and like a wet rag and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of cool that they just switch it up like that.
Yep. And I like the fact that like you have to, obviously you use the characters in different ways, And there is some new powers, to be fair, on this one, like poo
Yes.
diving. I like that. I thought that was funny when it's like a big pile of poo, like dives into it. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, I will do have to say the one ability that made me giggle the most because just at how clever it was they brought back the Sonic Scream from the superhero games, but they did it in a way where it's the girls basically, it's the screaming girls, that trope, and they said, every movie has at least one screaming girl. Let's take that and make that the Sonic Scream. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yep. I also liked how they now have boost pads, so you can push up the little useless smaller characters.
True.
I always found that fun.
Yep. Also, like they implemented the glide mechanic too, and they gave some characters the parasail. I'm like, that's kind of clever.
Yep.
I'm Batman.
Which, yeah, like I said, it was still pretty fun, and they did they did a good job, and it does feel good to play as the characters and know they're voiced by the actual people.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that's all Lego Jeff Goldblum. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. Now, unfortunately, I think a pitfall of this game is it doesn't have, at least I feel it doesn't have as much replay value as the ones with their own story.
I could see that.
Just because it's like, what's the point? And it's like, well, you could play back through the first film and stuff. It's like, well, to be fair, I liked playing through the film, but the reason I like playing through the film is to use the film character. So some people might like doing it on free play. I didn't even touch free play.
Mm-hmm.
Besides in the hub, I did free play in the hub, and that was about it. But in the actual movie and stuff, I was like, I don't want a free play. I want to use the characters how they're supposed to be used when they're supposed to be used, because that's Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I could understand that.
And I feel that might hurt the game a little bit, but
I love it. But I got way too much enjoyment out of basically taking a T-Rex and walking around Jurassic Park with it. Once I found a pad that allowed me to get him, outside, actually out into the park, as opposed to stuck in the pen, I was like, oh, I can get the T-Rex out. Yes. I just stomped around the park.
See, my favorite thing was using Mr. DNA and Steven Spielberg, who you get for beating the game.
I love Steven Spielberg.
Speaking of Steven Spielberg, that's another ability. I feel this ability is new for this game, and that is the photography. Because they had photography pads for like Peter Parker, but it wasn't used to distract bosses. This is literally you stand there and you distract bosses with it. So I feel, while it may on the surface be similar, it's very fucking different.
Yeah, in the hub, it's basically like an expanded, glorified version of the Peter Parker one, because you're just going around the park taking pictures. But yes, mostly in most of the hub stuff. Some of it, there's some distraction stuff, but most of them are just photography points. But in the story, you use the camera to distract, which, like you said, is clever. Yeah, it's a good use of the camera. It makes it a useful ability item.
Yep, which, like I said, I like that. Like I said, they did the Peter Parker stuff on some parts in the hub, but like you said, there's also the distractions, and like the distraction I feel makes this different. Which I'm like, that's kind of cool. It's like if I said, yo, there's the character dresses in black, uses gadgets to stop crime. That could be Batman or Punisher. On the surface, that's very similar. However, when you actually look at what the hell the difference in the characters are, big difference.
I will say one thing I am very disappointed in is the fact that you could only summon the Pteranodon and the little pterosaur thing that you could get in the aviary. You can't summon it in the other dino pads. And I'm like, oh, I want it to fly around the park. I would have been even okay if they'd have given you like a ceiling just so you can't do crazy shit you're not supposed to with the birds. I'd be fine with that. It's like, no, you can only summon in the aviary on Isla Sorna. And I'm like, that's not fair because that's so enclosed. And I haven't tried to go to the aviary in Jurassic Park on Jurassic World, but I would imagine there's probably something in there where you can summon them, but you're probably gonna be stuck in that aviary like you were in the other one. And I'm just like, that kind of sucks that you put them in the game. And you're like, nope, only in this little enclosed area. I'm like, they're birds. They're not supposed to be enclosed.
Yep. But like I said, overall, I'd tell people to, but I'd give this a solid rent.
I would say.
Be,
Mm,
I was saying I'd
okay.
I'd say give this a solid rent because I don't think it has to replay at the other Lego games, and I know for a fact it has a load of glitches in it. And when you're taking all the factors together and stuff, and how like the fourth one feels disjointed to the 1, 2, and 3, and the other stuff, it's like it's a good game, but considering how much it is brand new right now, I'd say rent or wait for a sale.
I could agree with that. Yeah, get it at a reduced price. I think it's worth a buy, but yeah, you're probably right. It's not worth the full price for the reasons you stated. But if you're a fan of the Lego games, it basically takes, as TT Games does, takes what came before it, took the good stuff from it, applied it to this game, and made it a little bit better. Took the not so good stuff and either took it out or reworked it and made it better. And this game just plays very well. I haven't come across any of the glitches that you have come across, but it does not surprise me that there are glitches because it's TT Games. I mean, they make great games, but they do glitch once in a while. I've had some glitches in other games, but no, I would say I would agree with you. I would say either rent it if you want to play it now, or wait for it to go on sale, or wait for a price reduction and pick it up because it is worth a buy if you're a fan of the Jurassic Park series.
Yep. And ironically, it'll probably be on sale by the end of the year because Lego Avengers and Lego Dimensions, and with the Blu-ray being out then as well. So it's like, okay, pick up the Blu-ray, pick up the game dirt cheap. That'll be pretty fun.
Yeah. For those in America, it'll probably go on massive sale Black Friday, so you can be on the lookout for that. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
I just meant in America it'd also be really reduced price.
Yeah, it will.
Anyway, so
yeah, my guess is they'll do the massive sale Black Friday, and then they'll reduce the price for holiday season and just leave it at that price. Probably reduce it to like $30 or something.
I could see that. Plus, there's no online pass, so you can always buy it used as well.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of online, did you want to talk about the DLC? Because I know you purchased a lot of the DLC.
All the DLC?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if they were going to make more.
Yeah, I've purchased because there was no season pass or anything, and I think that's all they were going to do. The DLC, it's just extra characters and extra vehicles. It doesn't add anything, which, to be fair, that's what DLC should be. It should be stuff that's optional to purchase. So I didn't feel like, oh, you've left all this stuff out just to make us buy more. It's like, okay, I didn't need this stuff, so. But so yeah, the DLC is pretty cool.
Cool.
I wasn't sure if you'd purchased any of the DLC.
I have not.
Fair enough. But yeah, okay. I was your host, Chriz, aka the Mole, and yeah, see ya.